What is going on, guys? Welcome to the live stream today. The topic at hand, of course, is the Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk Redeye. Is there even going to be one made? And it's a very long name. Yes, I know. Crazy. I don't think they would call it that. Definitely not call it that. It's way too long of a name. In any case, what this video truly is about is, will it happen? Because it's not a guarantee at this point, but I will tell you that I have spoke to some people back in Detroit that have been basically the ones that told me everything that's going to happen with the Redeye Charger. Of course, the wide body Charger, which a lot of people said was never going to happen. And you know, it's funny because I always say this because you really got to open your mind to certain things. You know, there was a lot of people that said I was crazy and the wide body Charger would never happen. And I have those comments on the videos. I've screenshotted them too. And 3 years later, 2.5 years later, the wide body Charger comes out. And then all those people, in fact, there were several of them that said they already knew. It's just funny how a lot of people always say, oh, this isn't going to happen. That's not going to happen. I'm going to hate. And as soon as it happens, oh, everybody already knew about it. Sure. Any case, just want to move right along here. We're talking about the Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk. Now, it did not sell very well. Anybody who knows anything about the Jeep knows it did not sell very well at all. In fact, it was probably one of the biggest, I don't want to say flops, because it didn't necessarily flop, but it was definitely one of the most, horrific selling vehicles, because they sold like, what, 1,200 units, 1,400 units? I don't even know, but it was very low. In fact, I think they sold more Challenger GTs in 1 year than they did of the Trackhawk in the past 3. I almost guarantee it. In any case, I thought the Trackhawk was a great car. The problem was, or great vehicle, because it's an SUV, not a car, but I think the problem is that they have this vehicle that has got all this power in comparison to a regular SRT, but they look damn near the same. That was the biggest complaint that everybody had. You had yellow calipers and a different hood and slightly different bumper, but it was almost identical. And everybody pretty much got frustrated with that. They didn't care. It didn't look different enough. It was just not unique. And that is the problem with the Trackhawk. Now, Dodge had a plan here. Now, I'm not exactly sure how their plan was supposed to be exactly, but what I'm told is that Dodge had a plan to build a Redeye in the Jeep Grand Cherokee platform. However, instead, they built the Hellcat Durango. Dodge wanted to build a Redeye and a Hellcat version of all of their vehicles, which at this point in time, it's almost safe to say they will. But originally, the plan was they were going to deliver an SRT Durango, they were going to deliver the Trackhawk Jeep, then they were going to deliver the Redeye Jeep, and then the Hellcat Durango. But for some reason, the Trackhawk, like we spoke, or that one main reason and some other reasons, the Trackhawk didn't sell very well, which is why they built the Pursuit Durango with the Redeye engine in it, and then went ahead and built the wide-body Hellcat Charger, and then went ahead with the Hellcat Durango. They've kind of pushed the Trackhawk Redeye onto the back burner. Now, a lot of people have talked about this over the last 6 to 8 months, or maybe even year. It hasn't happened yet because Dodge wants to build it, but they're, I guess you could say, apprehensive to build. They're hesitant because they need to figure out how to make the Jeep Grand Cherokee different enough to warrant a $120,000 SUV. Because let's face it, to get a Hellcat Durango, you're looking at about $81,000 MSRP. I'm going to do a video on that. I have the official build and spec sheets, courtesy of Xander here in the chat. But not only that, you're going to be spending $86,000, $90,000 on a Trackhawk, because Jeeps are typically more expensive than Durangos. It was more expensive in its SRT trim. It's more expensive in its Hellcat trim. The thing is that it seems that they want to build this. They do. But like I said, they're hesitant because they've got to figure out a way to make it look different. Well, there's one real big solution to this whole problem, and that is a refresh, which we're supposed to be getting in 2021 or 2022. And there's been a rendering of this refresh, which I'm going to share with you guys. And I'm pretty sure that Dodge or FCA Jeep is going to wait for this refresh before they push out a Redeye Trackhawk. And they may not even call it a Trackhawk. At this point in time, it's all speculation. The only thing I know for sure is that my sources say that internally Dodge wants to build it. They just don't know if they should. That's the problem here. They want to, but don't know if they can or if they should because of the problem with the original Trackhawk and the sales being very bad. If we knew anything about Dodge, though, anything at all, we know they hate failure. They don't accept it, and they always improve. So very good possibility we will see one, but it's almost guaranteed going to be during the refresh, just like the Durango got a refresh. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this website up. I want you guys to see this because this is kind of crazy. Here we go. Let's do this. Okay. This is a rendering. It's most likely not going to look identical to this at all, but I mean, it's going to be maybe somewhat similar. I think that something's going on with the front end. And 2021 is supposed to be when the Jeep refresh kicks in because the Trackhawk's been out now for almost 3 years. And this refresh happened in, like I said, right around the time the Trackhawk came out. So we're due for a refresh in 2021. So this time next year, we're going to start seeing possible leaks, rumors, and releases or teasers on the Trackhawk Redeye. If that is the case, it's perfect and perfectly in line with the Hellcat Durango, considering the Durango has already been announced, released, teased, all the works done, revealed, and it's now August, which means it gives them all of this fall and winter to sell the Durango and to work up for next spring and summer to release the Trackhawk Redeye. So it's a perfect timeline for a refresh and an upgrade, which is exactly what the guys over at FCA need and exactly what they need to justify building this vehicle. And if they are going to build it, you can surely bet that it's going to be limited. I would not be shocked if they said they were only going to build 500 or 1,000 of them or something very similar to that effect. Then again, there's a possibility they don't limit it, but I think it's more possible we're going to see a limited production, and it's going to look somewhat, I guess you could say, similar to that, because that's a rendering from Auto Evolution, I believe. But it may be slightly similar to that. It may not, but I think that could be the direction they're going. It's really hard to say what it's going to look like because nobody's released it yet. This is just kind of a sneak peek at what insiders think it will look like. The case still remains that they're not going to build a Redeye on the current platform or the current front fascia because it looks identical to a Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT. They're not going to do that. And why would SRT and FCA and Jeep, whatever, why would they build a new front bumper, headlights, and a back bumper to keep, the same front rear fascia and just like change it? Like, why would they take the current fascia and just modify it when they could make a whole new facelift for the vehicle like they did with the Hellcat Durango? So that is what's happening. And I can tell you guys that from what I've heard, the Redeye Trackhawk is very real. It's just at this point in time, like I said, FCA needs to justify the vehicle in order for it to be built. They have to do this the proper way. The only way this is going to happen is with a facelift. You can see here, they're talking about it here on Car and Driver, and this was like 6-7 months ago, but they said the same thing here, that they have spied a more aggressive Jeep, but then it never happened, and they did mention that they needed to do better than the previous Trackhawk, which is exactly my point. There is no way that they're going to build a Trackhawk Redeye on the current fascia. Not going to happen. And if they do, I will be shocked to see a company that failed on the sales of this vehicle build another one with more power, more expensive, and put time and money and R&D into just changing a bumper when they can just wait for the facelift and then add the new model at the same time. And it gives them a year to sell the Durango Hellcat, which is going to sell like fire anyway, just for the simple fact that the Durango outsold the Trackhawk, period. There was more Durango SRT sales than there was Trackhawk sales. People liked the Durango. They did. And this Durango Hellcat is going to sell fast. By the time they deliver their first Durango to their first customer or dealership, there's going to be none left to build, or damn near none left to build. Everybody's going to buy it like hotcakes because it's something that people have been wanting for a very long time. We begged for a Durango SRT since 2008. We finally got one in 2018. And here we are in 2020, and now we have a Hellcat Durango, which in my opinion is 5 years overdue. So everybody wants it. Now, With that being said, I want to know what you guys think, because I feel that Dodge, like I said, is going to wait for the refresh. It's hard to say for sure if they're going to wait for the refresh or not. I do know for almost certainty, based on what I've heard from people that live out that way and that work there, and I have relatives that work on the assembly line, that people have mentioned that they intend and want to build one. But how is the question? Like, can they, after the failure of the Trackhawk? That's the only question. So I guess we need to ask ourselves, not do Dodge want to build this car or vehicle, or will they necessarily build this vehicle? The real question is, can FCA and Jeep and SRT, can they build this vehicle, or can they find a way to build this vehicle and make it a success? Can they justify building this vehicle? That's the big question. Not do they want to, or if they're going to maybe possibly try, can they justify it? Because that's the question that they're probably wondering too. Can we justify building an 800 horsepower Jeep after we kind of flop on the 707 horsepower Jeep? So I think they will. I think they'll build it. Dodge hardly ever turns things down. They always go balls to the wall. They've been doing this for 6 straight years now. And I don't think it's going to be an issue for them going forward, as long as they give it a facelift or put some serious love into the exterior. And I think a 797 horsepower Jeep Grand Cherokee would be awesome. At this point, I don't know if they're going to build a Redeye Durango, because they've limited the sales of the Hellcat Durango already. So it's quite possible they have put the Durango in a safe behind a lock and key door, and it's done, and they've thrown away the key. This very well could be the last upgrade for the Durango. It looks like that too, because I've heard diddly shit on a Redeye Durango. So it doesn't mean it's not happening. It just means the chances of a Redeye Durango at this point are looking very scarce and unlikely, considering they need to rectify the problem with the Trackhawk to begin with. I don't think they're going to leave the Jeep for dead. I mean, they very well could, and that would be the biggest mistake FCA could ever make, is to leave the Grand Cherokee for dead, considering it's one of the #1 vehicles selling in America right now. But in any case, I think they need to deal with the problem head on, and that is make the Trackhawk Redeye look good, stuff the engine in there, make it look badass, make it look extremely unique, and make up for the problems they created for themselves with the Trackhawk. They do that, they can release it next summer or even the summer after. Problem solved. Another new high horsepower SUV from FCA. So what do you guys think? I think that is exactly what we got going on here. We're going to have to find out what Dodge and FCA plan. Like I said, I think that it's going to happen. At this point, I am not sure how long this is going to get pushed. If they push it too far, they may not even be able to build it, because once we get into 2023, 2024, we're going to have all new chassis, and they're going to, at some point or another, switch over to the Quadrifoglio chassis and the Alfa Romeo stuff. So we could see a lot of twin-turbo V6s in a lot of FCA products. Of course, this is going to be 2024, 2025, or later, but they are running out of time. If they don't act now, they may not get a chance to build the Trackhawk Redeye, because you figure even if they build it and tease it for next summer, that's 2021. You wouldn't even see them being delivered till late 21 or early 22. That only gives them a 1 or 2 year window to sell it, which is fine, because they're probably going to limit it to 1 year only. So if you look at that, it lines up perfectly with how they're doing the Hellcat Durango. Almost identical to this. New chassis, or not new chassis, new facelift, excuse me, new engine, 1 year limited. It all works out, and it's just perfectly in sync with the Durango Hellcat. So that's what I believe is going to happen, guys. I really appreciate you stopping in. What do you guys think? Welcome to the stream, Miles, of course. Cortese, Joel, RX Raider, what's up? Xander's in the chat. Josh, make sure I didn't miss anybody. CNC, what's up, buddy? Speed Freak, how many miles are on the GT350? There are 3,600. I might actually do a giveaway on the GT350. I'm thinking about that. But the only way I would do it is I'd have to have enough buzz around it. So I not that I don't like the car. I just, I could do a giveaway on it possibly. Very possibly. So it's something I've been thinking about. I think Jeep needs Tom. What? I don't understand that. I'm sorry. I don't get that. I think partner up with SRT to make a track. I agree. I would take the Trackhawk over the Challenger as well as room for 4 since they're so heavy. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely got more room. It's a good thing. It's a good thing to have that kind of room and all that power at the same time. The Jeep SRT has been sold. I sold that immediately after the pandemic started. In fact, I don't think I did 2 videos on that car, or that SUV. But I had to sell it due to the pandemic, so there was no hope for keeping that, especially not with the GT350. There's just no way, not during this point in time. So I really appreciate you guys stopping in and watching this video. I want to know what you guys think. Post your comments in the comment box below the video once it posts to YouTube. And if you're in the live, what do you think? I think that, you know, Dodge is going to tackle this. I think they're going to tackle it. It's still up in the air whether or not they're going to do it. Like I said, they want to, but it's hard to say if they actually will act on it considering of the failures to Trackhawk. But I don't think they're one to back away from competition. And a 797 or an 800 horsepower Trackhawk or Grand Cherokee would be the most powerful SUV in the world. Nobody would ever catch that, ever. There's no manufacturer that would build a factory vehicle that high in power or that fast. And with 800 horsepower, the Jeep would be running the quarter-mile high 10s. A factory SUV would be in the high 10s easily. So it's very crazy. And Dodge is crazy. So I think this could very well happen. So we will find out, guys. Thank you so much for stopping in. I really appreciate it. You guys are the best. I wanted to bring this information to you because I've seen videos in the past on it. I wanted to clarify the legitimacy on what's going on. It is not a guarantee. It's not in the works at this point. They want to. It's kind of sitting on the table. I wanted to clarify that for everybody. We'll find out in the near future. Most likely won't find out any more information on this vehicle until early spring, like March or April, maybe a little bit earlier at the auto shows. If this pandemic would ever get the hell out of this world and go away, we could move on to going back to auto shows. And if we could, we probably would hear something at one of the auto shows, January, February, March, April. So thanks so much, guys. We'll see you on the next upload. Thank you so much for stopping in. I really appreciate it. Have a great weekend. Be safe out there in these crazy times. I will see all of you on the next upload, a live stream. Peace.